Blair's Breakdown is back, Season 3, 2023. You're all DMing me and asking all silly, is the show back? Is the show back? You know the show's back, and we start it right now. First thing I want to show you is this ridiculous track, this triple. Okay, we were in the press conference, and Cooper Webb, Tomac were talking about how gnarly the track was, and they mentioned this section a couple times. So I want you to look at this. Come out of this corner, and this is 20 minutes into the main event. These guys are still going at it. Look at these holes right here. Down to the base, you see some ruts in the inside. Come this way. Let's get in there nice and close. This is down to a base, okay? This hole right here, this is the one they were talking about. Coming out, remember, they're seat bouncing this on a 450 as hard as they can, hitting this hole and having to time it, right? You can't just seat into the hole. You have to seat and kind of allow yourself to lift off the lip. And then the entire track looks like that. And let's go battle each other for 20 minutes. I got it, guys. You guys are crazy. Let's go this way. Eli Tomac, he's an all-timer. I mean, last year I think we all know he was chasing that status, right? He needed to get that second title and all those wins, but I mean, he proved something to me tonight. You come into a championship in a building that's not great for you, in a race that's not great for you. I think you would average 8th. That's over the course of 9 years, he averages 8th, and he comes out and wins after crashing and getting up, passing his way through. I mean, that was an all-time performance by an all-timer, and I'm not afraid to say that anymore. Villapoto, Dungey, these legendary names of the sport, he is one of them, and he proved that tonight. I know it's just one race. I know it's just day one, but for a guy like that with his credentials to come out and accomplish something that he had never done, that is insane. And the new bike, how about this? You come into a championship with a new bike. There's so much to learn. Can I win the title on a new bike? Jason Anderson did it in 2018. Ryan Dungey did it in 2015. Ryan Villapoto did it in 2012. So you can win a championship on a new bike. It's been done a lot. And that's the final challenge for Eli Tomac. Can you win the title on that brand new bike? And he proved tonight he's got an incredible shot at it. Let's keep walking. Man, they got a lot of work to do. Let's keep going. How much is that camera worth? 30, maybe 50 grand. How many? 50 grand for that camera? Look at that camera. $50,000 camera. Could you imagine? I mean, this track is so gnarly. Could you imagine if one of those dudes took that thing out? Oh. All right, let's keep walking. Oh, my gosh. All right, so remember, come out of the corner, you hit the hole, and then when you land, come up here. When you land, you have literally no time to think. You just have to trust and hope that the one you chose is right. Here's 2 things. Number 1, foot pegs. Those are foot pegs. That's foot pegs. Here's another one of those holes. So not only do you have the ruts, but it dips down in and then catches this hole right here off the lip. So that's 1. Triple again. I guarantee you the next one looks just as bad. How about Cooper Webb? Look, last year was really bad. Really bad because he was a champion. He was coming off of a championship, didn't get a win, had 1 podium to start the year in a race that even he was surprised by. The fight wasn't there. His tendencies, what makes him special, was gone. The speed was gone. He couldn't cut down on corners. The whoops obviously weren't fixed. And the way he rode tonight was insane. I mean, if you want to get that championship back, you come out swinging. You can't just ease into this thing and hope that it's going to work out. I know that model has worked before, but with this field, Jason Anderson, Chase Sexton, Malcolm Stewart, the speed elevation, you can't just ease in and hope. And Cooper Webb decided, I'm not waiting. I'm going to come out swinging. He had a bad start. He fought his way through, stalled the bike like on the 3rd lap, and just kept grinding. And I mean, if you're a fan of Supercross, do you realize the season that's coming upon us right now after last year, how good it was? To have Tomac and Webb be that good, have Sexton be that good, have Jet be that good. 2023, oh, we're in for it. Let's check the next one. Oh, these guys are a bunch of sissies. There's nothing wrong with this next one. I say sissies. Look at this. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Wow. Okay, so this isn't easy. There's still some little holes down here, but after seeing those two, I mean, obviously you're like, You're feeling good about this point, even though this is a big one. But, dude, I'll take that. You can still see the ruts, too. Come check this out. And I want you guys to know what this feels like. When you land and hit a rut and your foot pegs scrape, it slows the momentum down on the bike. It changes the suspension delivery. And then you don't know how much throttle to give it off the jump because you don't really know that you caught the rut until the very last second off the lip. So these guys come out, seat bounce off that hole, land in those gnarly ruts, hit the hole, and then they think they're in the clear, but there's still holes down here, little ruts. I mean, this is the easiest of the three so far, but God, this track. Oh, that'll be cool. Third on the night was Chase Sexton. So I made this point on Race Day Live, and I'll take a little more time to explain it. When Ryan Dungey was in his last year of Supercross, Eli Tomac had a chance to put him away late in the title. He was winning all those races. You could tell Dungey was uncomfortable. And then Tomac made a big mistake and blew it and wasn't able to get that title. And he wasn't able to close that title down. And what I believe is that at that point in Ryan Dungey's career, we know it was late. He was going to probably sail off in the sunset in the next year or two. And if you're Tomac, you don't want to wait till a guy like that is gone to then go get your championship, because if he wins, everyone believes the next year they have a shot. But if Tomac would have beat Dungey that year and established himself as the guy, then everyone would have recognized that coming into the next season, that they had to go through him and it wasn't wide open. That's where Sexton is right now. With Eli Tomac, more than likely, let's just say the odds, on his last year racing Supercross, I don't think it's smart for Chase Sexton, and I don't think he's doing this, but I don't think it's a good move to wait until Tomac's gone to win the title, because if Tomac leaves, everyone's going to think they have a shot at it. But at 23 years old, if he comes in and wins the championship and takes it from Eli Tomac before he leaves, then the title goes through him in 2024, and everyone knows it. So for Sexton, I actually think tonight was a championship ride. He was great in the middle laps of the race, got in the lead, made some mistakes in this rhythm section, and got a third. And he was super frustrated afterwards, but guess what? Those are the kind of rides that win you a title. A third on a night when things don't go smooth, that's how you win it. That's how Eli's won it. That's how Cooper's won it. That's how Jason won it. That's how Dungey won it. So for Chase Sexton, I know he's frustrated, but dude, you handled your business. You're in the title fight, and we all know that you're probably the fastest guy in the class, and you stacked a third tonight. So for the Sexton fans out there, don't trip. That was as good as it could have gone. Last year, he swaps out, makes a big mistake, ruins the race. This year, he's on the podium, so that's huge. Let's go this way. So next Anaheim, if the weather permits, it's going to be a lot drier. It's going to be a lot harder. I mean, look at the soil. Let's take a look at what they're working on. That is all super dry right there. Again, they built this track like over a week ago, tarped it up. Everything under these obstacles is extremely dry. Once they open it up and work it, the next Anaheim is going to be a lot different, and it'll be more traditional. This was full East Coast. Super dry. Let's go this way. All right, take a look at those ruts right there. So that's coming in after, you go over the little over tunnel, you do the whoops, you come down in wide open. That is so deep right there. And it's cool because the guys obviously rail the far outside first, and then they start coming down, down, down. Eventually, you run out of options. Cooper Webb said it in the press conference. He just ran out of places to go. I mean, you just got to survive and just say, screw it. And that's what he did, because there's no option. So let's get a little closer. Let's go over the riders I'm a little bummed about. Not with, but about. And I'll start with Austin Forkner in the 250s. I wanted the Jet Forkner battle. I mean, I think we've all been asking for this thing for so long, and it just can't happen. Last year, they come together, Forkner's out, and then this year he can't get halfway down the start straight away, and I don't know the extent of the injury, but the dude got robbed. He straight up got robbed, and I don't even know what to say. I mean, what do you do if you're his team and you're his family? And, I mean, when a mistake happens and it's on you, you can learn from that. You can say, hey, don't do this or don't do that. That wasn't his fault. There was nothing he could have done there, and he's out. It's ridiculous. I feel so bad for him. and for everybody. I think we all wanted that battle, and Austin looked great today in qualifying. I think it was going to be on. God, this is so soft still. Let's go this way. Malcolm Stewart, super bummed with him. I don't know what happened. He came out of that corner, this corner right here with the deep ruts, jumped on no problem. When he went to jump off, there was nothing. And they mentioned on the broadcast they thought it was maybe a bike issue. I don't know. He got up and kept riding, so I don't know exactly what happened there, but he had no lift off that thing. And if we're being honest, if you watch the replay, he got really, really lucky. I mean, if that bike caught him at that speed, he would have been in some trouble, but he ended up being okay, which is good for him. But, man, at one point, I know you all thought he was going to get that win. I did, too. I was ready to jump in on the broadcast and say, this is it. We're getting it, finally. The whole industry, we've all been waiting on this. I think everybody will be stoked when he does, but, yeah, it kind of fell apart there, and that was a bummer. Let's take a look at the triple. Talk Jet Lawrence while we're walking. There's two jets. There is the Alien Jet, which is the guy that could just absolutely smash everybody in a moto or a night or a practice. He has that ability. His ceiling is so high. But then there's also this manager jet who just manages the situation, makes his way through some hurdles here and there, and then when it's time to get it done, he just gets it done. And that's what we saw tonight. He honestly, he was really bad in practice. He was really bad. He was making a lot of mistakes, fell a couple times. Heat race even looked goofy. I mean, RJ rode a great race, but it just didn't look right. And then the main event comes around, and he gets the whole shot, and he kind of just cruises his way to a victory. And that's the dangerous part for this 250 class. How are you going to beat him in a title if he just does that? On a day when things are going bad, he can just manage his way to an easy victory. I don't know how you beat that in a title without some outside influence or some kind of weird variable that's not his fault. That's about it. Oh, look at this. Let's go side view on this. I don't know if you can see it or not. Can you see that hole? We're down to the base. You can see that you were kind of down to the base. Let me show you. This is all base. You can tell by the color of the soil. It's a little darker. Yeah, it's like rocky. So they were able to get below that topsoil down to the base. And then there's, again, a hole. They talked about in the press conference these holes on the face of the jumps. They're like curbs. This is off the face of the triple. And then even up here, that's a hole. That's a hole. So you have a hole at the bottom. You have a hole at the top. And these guys just don't care. It's insanity. Come this way. This is pretty soft, actually. And there's a little bit of gravel mixed in. You guys can see that? Kind of like rocks. Makes traction hard, too. You think it's really sticky. When the base comes up like that, it's not that sticky. It's actually, it's a little slick. I think when the gravel gets wet, it's pretty bad. So come out of the corner, slick, not a lot of traction, hit a bunch of holes, seat bounce a triple, whatever. Come this way. Yeah, check this out. Come here. So this is the first triple. You land on this outside. Look at this one. You land on this outside, try to set the corner up the right way, and you run into this. You got these braking bumps right here. This one's pretty bad. That one's not bad. But then you have this. Yeah, okay, guys. Just don't even acknowledge it. Just ride wide open through it. No big deal. What else we got over here? Bunch of tear-offs. Not jets. Track crew, super impressive. You can see, actually, come here. Yesterday, the reason there was no press day, everything looked like that. See all that water? That was in between every single obstacle. When you pulled the tarps off the track, everything funnels straight down into the little goalies. And then when you rip the tarp off, everything flies off into the hole. So all the bottoms of all the obstacles were just water. They tried to work it in the best they could, but that's why those curbs started hitting the lips of the jumps, because that's just what happens. It's science or something. Let's head this way to the whoops. Take one last peek at this track. Adam Cincerello. Let's talk about AC. I mean, top 10. Typically you would say, oh, top 10, that's not that good. from what I heard in this offseason about the way he looked, his demeanor, his arm, all these different things, honestly, I was just hoping that he was okay and he would get through the night. But top 10 in this field, very quietly, I mean, that's a huge win for him. If I'm Kawasaki, I'm like, we're good. Like, we're good. AC, we're solid top 10. But if you're Kawasaki, you're looking at Jason Anderson and you're going, dude, what was that? And honestly, I picked Jason to win the title. I'm still not even going to steer away from it. I'm going to stubbornly stick to it for now. But today was really bad. I think he was trying too hard. I get having a lot of effort and coming out and trying to make a splash, but this track really didn't work that way, and it was just a tough night for him. I mean, he was on the ground so many times, big ones, little ones, and if there's any of you out there writing him off, I think you're silly. He's really smart. He's got good people around him. He's going to learn super fast what went wrong. He'll be better at the next one. But that was not a great start to the night or to the championship for Jason Anderson. I mean, from the first practice, it was pretty messy. So hold on a second. I don't want you guys getting run over. See, I'm safe, but you guys would get run over. And now he's just sitting there. What's up, bud? I don't know what he's doing, but I want to go right there. Let's just go for it. Ready? Come on. God, this is mushy. Well, never mind. They destroyed it. Oh, no, check this out. So the whoops, I don't know what you guys thought about the track. I liked it. I'm not a big fan of like gnarly long whoops because I think it just takes away from the racing because only a couple guys can do it. So I liked having 2 short sets of whoops. But look at this rut. This is that 4th one. So they'd come out and they'd kind of roll in, pop, and then they would land and jump 4. I mean, just think about how technical and how precise you have to be to land in that little skinny spot right there every lap. And you saw him late in the main event, just 4 out, 4 out, 4 out. That is so gnarly. You have to be so perfect while you're racing and battling. It's, again, these guys are freaks. Let's take a look at these whoops. We'll call it a show. Actually, McAdoo, Hampshire. Honestly, if we're being honest, in years past, they're loose. I mean, both those guys get kind of wild, and they were so stable tonight. Both won their heats. No big mistakes. I think they're just becoming more veteran-like. This way, before we get ran over. I think they're just becoming more veteran-like, and they're different. Oh, yeah. Okay, come on this side. Switch me sides. Dude, look at that. This is a big test tonight, too, for Eli Tomac on that new motorcycle. Cooper Webb on his bike. Like, are the improvements real? You know, you go to the practice track and everything's perfect there. You ride there every day, and what happens is you kind of like learn when to lighten up and how to ride a track that you're used to. So you never really know if your suspension's just right because you're probably affecting that, being on a comfortable track. But you come out here, you ride these whoops, you hit these ledges. Look at this one. And these guys were riding the edge of this thing, too. Big test by Cooper Webb and his team tonight. Their bike was good, so. Last thing was Ken Roczen. Y'all impressed with that? I think I still am. I mean, he just switched to that Suzuki. He's, had a month on it? I'm not buying into this whole, like, old dinosaur bike. I don't buy into that. It's a good motorcycle, good people around him. I'm still into it. I thought he had a great ride, and he got passed a lot tonight. But he never stopped fighting. He would fight back. I mean, his fight back with Eli was good. So I'm not looking at this as he kind of faded from the front and didn't have the greatest finish, missed a podium. I think it was a solid start. And he actually texted me last week. I kind of came at him like, dude, A1, let's get one. He said, easy, Tiger. It's the long haul this year. So solid ride from him. I'll take it. And I think he's only going to get better. They're going to learn more about the bike. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm into it. Last guy I want to talk about, Dylan Ferrandis, 2-time 250 champ, 450 motocross champ. His 450 Supercross career is it's not been good. It really just has not been good. Not because he's not fast, but because he can't start. And in the main event, he didn't start. But in the heat race, he got a good start. He was pretty good. In the main event, he fought through like he does. He's so gritty. But I think Dylan Ferrandis is going to have a good year. I think when we get to like March and April, we won't be surprised by rides like that. I think he's going to be up front more than he's not. And I know the track was tough tonight. Again, he's on a new bike too, so he's having to learn in the moment. But overall, I think it was pretty good. All right, guys. Well, we saw what we saw. A1 was incredible. I think you guys will agree with me. This sport is the best in the world. There's nothing better than this. These athletes are the best athletes, the strongest, the gnarliest. They're daredevils, and it's poetry in motion. And the sport is so incredible. 2023 is going to be amazing. Anaheim won. This is one of the best Anaheim ones I've ever been to, and I've been to a lot of them. So hope you guys like the show. Next week in Oakland, I'll bring a little raft. We can float around the track together. That's my guess. I think it's going to be an absolute mess. Fingers crossed it's not, but Blair's Breakdown Episode 2 might have my floaties on because I think we're going swimming. We'll catch you in Oakland.